Hey everyone, we're back with a commentary today, partly because, as some of you may remember, I broke my camera mount at the last round, and so I had a mount that I thought would work better. It did not work, so I had to make a quick change on the starting line. So we're going to go with a different mount today, and it really didn't turn out that good. So this is a bit of a chopped up, highlighted version of my race today. And we're going to enhance it with a little bit of commentary today. So let's get into it.
10 seconds.
So as you can tell, I really didn't go for it very much on the start. It was a pretty big mistake. It was dusty, but it ended up being even dustier than I was expecting. Really bad start. And these first few clips here are just going to highlight how bad some of the dust was on the first lap and how difficult it really makes it in the beginning when you don't get a good start. Alright, and now we're coming out to the motocross track. I am currently behind Hayden Hefner. Many of you guys know he's a very good motocrosser. He's in front of me, and he really took advantage of these moto sections even with the dust, but you can see he's behind about 4 or 5 different bikes that were pretty close, and I just didn't really feel like taking these chances out here in the dust, and yeah, it was tough. So Tyler, the owner of Brushy, likes to add in some new sections every once in a while. This was one of them. It honestly was a pretty fun section, just with the little bit of breaking the action. It ended up getting pretty rough. But at this point, I think we're in like a 5-rider pack, and this was one of the sections that wasn't that dusty, but all the other sections you really couldn't make a pass on anyone unless you took a serious chance, and it's tough to do that on these opening laps. So there's quite a few of us in a line right here, and kind of all stuck in the same pace and really not moving forward that much. So, but we're gonna let this play out here for a minute, not cut it up, and because we ended up having a moment here in a few minutes that really ended up changing a lot of my race and even some other riders' races. coming up to that spot right here. Tough turn, a couple guys missed it, and there I just kind of get caught in a bad situation. Caden lost his balance, ended up coming over into my line, and see, I ended up getting passed by about 3 or 4 other bikes there, which is unfortunate. Skip ahead just a couple minutes, look to your right about there.
Oh, Colby.
Colby Goodman had, I guess he caught a rock and went off the side there. Coming up on lap 2 here, we're on the motocross track. Hadn't really been able to make any passes, but I'm catching Danielle, I believe is how you say her name, McDonald. So watch this right here. She took a bit of an unorthodox line there, and I was able to square her up, make the pass, really charge these couple corners to try to solidify the pass because you heard her rev back there. And now we're getting really into the action here. We're on the end of this lap. I've caught up to Colton Brown, starting to get a flow going, and we started separating a little bit, so the dust was not as bad, and it was easier to follow, try to set up some lines and stuff like that. He lets me go, and then McDonald trying to get a line up the inside, trying to sneak in there on me. Was able to make the pass on Colton, hold her off, and then you catch a glimpse of Caden Johnson right here, caught back up to him. When we had that incident on the first lap, I ended up getting a few bikes behind and slowed my charge towards the front, but now we're starting to make some passes quickly here. And so we're going to follow Caden out through these couple sections and try to see if I can get around.
Thanks, buddy.
He lets me go. I honestly can't tell you what position I'm in because I have no idea at this point, but I've gone back and forth a few times now. Yep, I'm in a little bit more clear air. Going to try to ride out this lap, and I'm pretty sure I have to pit at this end of this lap. So, and this is a little bit more uncut, longer clips here this lap. Yeah, it was the first time I really got clear track, so just having fun. One of the things that makes Brushy pretty tricky is the rocks, the loose rocks that can get kicked back in the track. Here's a prime example.
Oh my God!
It's a pretty big boulder there. You'll hear me comment on it even further right here.
We were kicked about 8 times right there on that boulder.
Just for the record, it was not there any of the previous laps, and it was never there again. So it's just one of those things, a blind water break, and yeah, those are the things that can be tricky. So this is one of the tougher sections to catch guys in. It's a bit one line, even though it's wide. It's tricky for guys to get out of the way. I'll highlight a few examples later, but sometimes it's frustrating because I'll see opportunities for guys to just give me just a few feet to just try to shoot a gap on. And that's really all I need. I think I had separated a little bit, and other moments on this lap with some lappers, lost a little bit of time, and Danielle had started to catch back up to me. So it's tricky too because I'm coming to the pit stop. I know I have to give up the position regardless. So a little frustrating. I try to get these gaps on these pit laps, but I always end up having a good reset when I pit. So you'll see I try to put in a bit of a charge after I pit here shortly. And you can start hearing some of the brake squeak and some riders catching back up. But anyway, long story short, yeah, I try to put in a good charge after my pit stop here shortly and try to get that position back. Coming out into this open section, I just catch a glance, and she's pitting at the exact same time. So no harm, no foul, really. Ended up gaining the spot back. I wanted to note too, it's pretty cool to battle her. She's a WXC rider from Australia, riding for the Ampro Yamaha team. It was cool to get to race against her and go back and forth a little bit. Highlighting this section a little bit, there's a prime example of the roots and the rocks that got shown in this section. Anytime you get a newer section, the dirt's a little bit softer. It's not as tightly packed as some race trail can tend to get. So this section got a little bit tricky as the race went on. It was very fun though. It kind of broke up the speed and it was fun.
Yeah, buddy!
Shout out Phil there. Cool to see him out there. Always like seeing my buddies out there and guys that I know. Skipping up to this other new section, which is above one of their hard enduro sections. I forget the name of it, but it was pretty cool to run this section too because it was, like I said, a little bit different, a little bit more raw and pretty fun. Really, I think most guys enjoyed it. Just wanted to comment quickly, with this angle you've been getting a great view of my wrist brace. Just want to give a quick update on that. Wrist has been doing alright. I still don't have great motion in it yet, but it's really not been that bad. It's a little sore after the races for sure, but no real complications, said to be pretty much healing and all that, but with the motion it's still sore. Here's an example of this section again with the lap riders. It was very tricky to get by guys, and I try to be patient. You know, I'm not revving and yelling the whole time. But if I'll see a spot where I feel like there's a chance that a rider can get over, or that I personally would have got over, I'll get a little bit more frustrated. But yeah, with the rocks, it's tricky. I get it from their point; they don't want to crash. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough sometimes. The second to last lap was very tough. This one was frustrating too because the rider in front, honestly, you can't see it, but he was looking back quite a bit too because he could hear me back here, and he was not willing to give up the spot so quickly. I get it; everyone's got their own race to run, but
come on, dude.
it's tough. It's a tough line, but I try to get out of faster riders' ways as quickly as I can. But second to last lap was tricky, but I just want to finish up by saying I ended up P7 in Pro and 9th overall. Fun day. Ended up being a lot of fun. My riding's been getting better too, so look to just keep improving and having more good races to come. So hope you guys enjoyed.